first, I'll say that I want to give a shout out to Charlie Kirk, man. Can y'all give Charlie Kirk a round of applause? Why do I say that I want to start my show by giving some credit to Charlie Kirk? Is because he is the epitome of working hard and delivering as a young person, starting Turning Point USA a long time ago. As a teenager, and was able to accomplish all that he's been able to accomplish. He deserves a round of applause. And I want you guys to give yourselves a pat on the back, because you guys are in a unique position in this country to make an incredible difference. We're depending on you. We're depending on you to be bold. We're depending on you to be courageous. We're depending on you to have grit, to stand up for what you believe in the face of adversity. And I don't care what all the other people say, you guys, every single person that's sitting in this room, will be the future of the United States of America. And you know why I believe in you guys so much? Is because at one point I was a young person. Now I'm old now in Turning Point years. All right, it's like dog years. When you're 40, you're old now. But I was once a young person who was confused initially, right? I thought I was on one side. Y'all know what side I'm talking about, right? The wrong side. I thought I was on the wrong side, and then I went to college and it opened my mind up, and now I understand what conservatism is. I understand the value of capitalism. All of the things that you guys have learned over time is something that I had to learn. And once I learned that, I became a force. And so you guys that have learned about capitalism, about freedom of speech, about loving the country, you are now equipped to be an incredible force. And I'm very proud of you guys, and I look forward to seeing many of you guys stand on a stage like this and be able to be an impact to others, all right? So let's get to some politics real quick. I know y'all want me to talk about some politics. All right, I'll get to some Epstein in a minute, but let me start with this. Do y'all remember UC Davis? I don't know if y'all remember me at UC Davis. Some of y'all didn't see it, I'm glad. Some people were flying in the air at some point. But what I want to say is, if you've seen the video and you saw that we were under attack at UC Davis, they tore down our tent, they were acting a fool. And for many of you, you looked at me and you said, Brandon, why did you just stand there and not do more? Because I wanted to preserve the reputation for Turning Point, all right? But you know, if I happen to be there by myself, hey, there'll be some pillows and blankets for all those little liberal non-binaries out there being foolish. But I want to say that the reason that what that represents for me is to stand on your principles, man. Don't let them defeat you. They tried to tear our whole tent down and threaten us. The police did nothing, absolutely nothing. I was appalled that law enforcement officers did not protect us. But you know what? We persevered. We said we do not care what they do. We're going to stand here. We're going to speak on campus because that is our constitutional right. I want to talk about immigration for a minute. Do you know how crazy it is that there are people in our government that are crying, spitting on each other, acting a fool because we would dare make people who are illegally in our country leave our country? I think it's asinine to think that people are going to throw rocks at ICE agents. They're going to shoot guns at them, assault them for doing their doggone job. And I think we should support our ICE agents, and we should support us deporting people who are illegally in the United States of America. Now, I like to be fair, balanced, and nuanced about it. We can show compassion, but you still got to get out of here. You cannot be here in our country illegally. When there were people who stood in line, paid the money, fought to be in this country, waited in line for 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, with family members over here, married to people over here, and they had to wait in line, so your doggone butt have to wait in line. And there's nothing wrong with the United States of America standing on principle. Let me add this. We are not a nation of illegal immigration. We are a nation of immigrants who came here the right way, who add value to the United States of America, who assimilate to the cultures that we created. And let's not forget that. These leftist nut jobs want us to forget it and want to, conflate the difference between the two. There's a big difference. When you come to this country, you got to respect this country. You better love this country, or we're going to kick your butt out of here. Let's get to this Epstein thing real quick. Now, I have a different opinion about it than a lot of people, but I do share the sentiment of probably everybody in this room. How many of you guys think, by raising your hand, that the government is not telling us the full story about what happened with Epstein? All right, I'm in the right place at the right time. I think that these people, and I don't know for whatever reason, there could be reasons, but I don't think they're telling us the truth about Epstein. I think that guy was involved in something nefarious that implicates a whole lot of people. And my guess is that the whole lot of people may happen to be some of our allies and some people that we don't want to have a bad relationship with. But I will say this. People say this about Pam Bundy. I don't know Pam Bundy. I don't necessarily like a lot of stuff that she's done. Rolling out binders that's blacked out and redacted is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you know what's funny is that, maybe I should say this. Somebody asked me to go down there. I said, I'm not finna go down there to put on a show. I'm a grown man with kids. What I look like going down there with binders and stuff? I'm not finna do that silly stuff. And I'm glad I didn't, because what they did was silly, and the American people deserve better. Now, I'll say this, some of y'all gonna be mad at me, but watch my videos, you'll like me later. Pam Bundy, I don't know what she's thinking, but she do answer directly to the President of the United States of America. So whatever she's doing, somebody else knows about what she's doing. And I'll say this about Dan Bongino, because I love Dan Bongino. How many of y'all love Dan Bongino? I like Kesh Patel. I don't know Kesh Patel, but I can say Dan Bongino, in my personal opinion, I do not think he will be the type of person that will see an injustice, that will see people being harmed and not stand up and say something. Now, the rumor has it that he didn't go to work the other day because he was disgruntled about what has happened. So I think that we should support people in our government that's willing to stand up. Let's have faith in some of the people that we've been trusting this far, and I think the truth will come out at some point. I think they're finding out how to deliver the truth. Maybe there's some confusion on how to deliver it to the American people, but I say I'm gonna have faith in Donald Trump because I believe in him. I think he's a good man. I don't know about Pam Bundy, but the other two, Kesh Patel and Dan Bongino, I think they're good people. So let's just weigh it out. But it's okay to be skeptical. Don't you be a fool and believe everything the government tell you. Have we learned that lesson yet? They lie to us about everything. Every administration. That Donald Trump has done a really good job about it. I think he's been the most honest, but they always deceive us. So don't you listen to everything any president or any political party says at 100%. Always be a person that can think for your doggone self. The only reason that I'm here today, one is because I have my faith in God, and the second is that I know how to think for myself. I have this term that I use in all of my research. If it's too juicy, you better do some research. If it's too juicy, that means the first time you hear it, you're like, oh, that's crazy. But what? They did what? Donald Trump did what? Do your research, because there's always something on the back end of that if you just take a little bit of time, you'll find out the full truth. Now I got about 5 minutes, and this is what I came here to really talk to you guys about, all right? Don't get mad at me, okay? Y'all love me? Make some noise if you love Big Tato. All right, I'm gonna try to do this in 5 minutes. All right, I came here to tell you, I hope this land right, do not get married. I told you before, if it sounds too juicy, you need to wait. Don't get married until or unless. My wife's sitting right there. You think I'd be saying don't get married in front of my wife? But I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from with the don't get married thing. I don't want you to rush into running into a marriage and be like 50% of people that get a divorce. Young people, hear me out. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody else's thought. You can decide to listen to who you want to listen to. But I got married in my 30s. We had our first child in our 30s, or at least me and Corinne had our first child in our 30s. And I know a lot of young people feel the pressure, especially you young men. I gotta be married. I gotta run out here. If your mama and them still paying your bills, you shouldn't be thinking about going on no date with no woman. Can I get an amen? Young men, I tell the young men that work for me this very thing. He say, Brandon, I'm going on a date. I'm going on a date. Why are you going on a date? You should be focused on building your career. You should be focused on finding out who you are, what you want out of life. How are you going to raise a family and you're immature at this point? Young men, focus on yourself, focus on developing your skill set, focus on generational wealth. Get your stuff together before you decide you want to go marry somebody. And I'll tell you this is the key sign that you shouldn't be dating. If you think you're going to go on a date with a young lady and you don't know who's going to pay for it, you shouldn't be dating. I'm not getting a lot of claps by young men, but hear me out. I'm not telling you something I read in a book, I'm telling you something I know. Because not knowing who's going to pay tells a few things about where you are in life. One is that you're not ready, you're not financially stable enough to take care of anybody if you can't pay half of a meal. I mean, you can't pay for the full meal, meaning your deserved half that you took out on a date. Women, I see y'all clapping. Y'all finna be mad at me now. Young women, this has come from my heart. There may be a lot of young women in here, or young women that may not get married in your 20s, that may not have children in your 20s. But listen to me clearly. God has got your back. Do not feel the pressure of man to tell you when and where to do certain things. You need to listen to what God has called you to. And while you're waiting, don't be waiting, hooking up with people and doing all this old crazy stuff. You need to wait in the Lord. Spend your time volunteering. Spend your time finding out who you are. A lot of times young men, women rush into relationships and you don't even know who you are. So then you date a guy who don't reflect who you really are. And then you want him to rush and get married and then you don't like him no more. Why? Because he's lazy. He ain't who you thought he was. He don't treat his mama right. And if you wouldn't have rushed, take your time, wait on the Lord, you will find the right man. Ask my wife. I'm not trying to put her on the spot, but I'm just keeping it 100. I got a minute left. I'm keeping it 100. If she would have gave up and said, God don't love me because I'm not married yet, I don't have a child yet, God forgot about me, I'm washed up. If she said that in her 30s, what would she be today? But my wife kept believing in God. And it would be great if all of you guys were married at a young age. Great if you were equipped to be married. And the reason I say don't get married, because you need to be ready to be married. You need to be ready to take responsibility for somebody else. I wish they gave me a little more time. Marriage is not Instagram. Marriage, the people that are married, have been married for a while, your mom and them, they'll agree with me. You got to be ready to be selfless when you're married. You think me and my wife agree every time? No, we don't. I probably get on her nerves. But you got to be mature enough to say, I'm not going to quit in a committed relationship when I made a commitment before God. That takes maturity and growth to get to that point. So don't be weary and well-doing, because in due season you'll reap if you don't give up. And I swear I feel it in my heart that young women need to hear this more than young men. Don't get down on yourself. Don't feel like you missed the boat. There's a lot of young women I see on the internet, they feel shame because they ain't married to somebody. It's better for you to wait than to be married to somebody and they unhappy. Look at all these young people that you probably know on Instagram. They wait a little bit. Then you see a picture, they don't have a ring on no more. You're like, what happened to them? You see a picture and all that man that she was all up under his armpit, he ain't even on Instagram no more. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in that. People will never post online the bad times. They'll never post online the arguments they have. They'll never post on time the difficult time. Having children, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get off the stage, I promise you. Listen, a lot of people are like, I want to have kids, I want to have kids. Wait until you're mature and ready. If you are in a relationship, enjoy your marriage first and then have kids. Trust me. I love my boys. I love my boys. The tall one with the bushy hair. I love him too, and the little one over there that won't go to sleep like he's supposed to. But when they're young, you see the picture on Instagram, they cute. Oh, little baby, the little baby, the little baby. No, they, You trying to go to sleep? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I want to be grown, but we got kids. And that young one won't get out the bed, will he? Wave your hand at me if you gonna sleep in your own bed? No, you're not. I know you wouldn't. So I'm trying to encourage you guys to give a different perspective. I'm not trumping anybody else's statements. I'm just saying, God's got your back. Believe that. Everybody in here, you have a purpose, you have a mission. Don't think that because you're not on stage or you're not famous or something that God can't use you. I'm just doing what God has called me to do. You guys all have a calling on your life that's equally as important. If nobody watched my YouTube channel, I wouldn't be anybody. If nobody read the things that I wrote, I wouldn't be anybody. If nobody showed up when I speak, what would I be? So we all are in this together. We all have a mission and a purpose. Your purpose ain't gonna be his purpose ain't gonna be her purpose. But you need to identify your purpose. How do you identify your purpose? Real quick, 30 seconds. Is building a relationship with God. Not a religious ship. It's not about religion. It's not about how many times you go to church. It's not about how many times you do this. That's religion. It's about how many times in the intimate moments of your life that the first thing you go to is God. How many times when you're down and out and you're ready to give up and you said, I'm done with this mess, that you go to God. That's relationship. Times are going to get hard for you young people. It ain't easy. But where do you go to when it gets tough, when it gets rough, when you want to give up, when you want to throw in the towel, your mom and them getting on your nerves, college is taking a toll on you, you're ready to be done with these leftist lunatics, you sick of it. Where do you go? You go to God. All right, I'm gonna finish with this because I'm over time. I love you guys. Make sure you meet people here. Make sure you collab with people here. Don't be afraid to talk to people that you don't know, because this is where magic happens. This is where you meet people you're going to network with. Some of y'all may meet your husband or your wife here. Don't be ashamed in the corner walking around with your head down, unapproachable. Come on, y'all. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you. Take advantage of it. Do the right thing. Don't get in trouble out here in Tampa. Don't get in trouble out here. The Lord is watching you. But I just want to say thank you guys for being here. Enjoy the rest of SAS. God bless you. God bless America. And I'm out.